Tony D and Little Joan, and this is, well, I don't really have any good trailers. I can't find any. The year's just starting up. So I thought I'd talk about how to get organized, or how I do it. I'm not particularly organized, but I think my way of doing it, if I paid attention more, would be good. Smash like and subscribe. Thank you for smash liking and subscribing. Thanks for checking out my books, The Pineys, books 1 through 16, available at Amazon.com. Don't forget, Kindle Unlimited is free. I will say, knock on wood, I haven't forgotten any of my events using this method. And I had 142 events last year, so it could have been possible I got a date confused or a time confused or whatever. But what I do is I bought myself a year erasable uh, calendar, and every year I put it up and I write all the dates on it that during the course of the year, if I have an important event, one of the libraries or historical societies or one of the senior centers I do a talk at, or a comic book convention, whatever I'm doing, I put on the calendar with a time and the day, and I write that with these erasable magic markers, and I do that all through the year, and I have like a color scheme, right? So the days in the week in black, because you can't have the same. It's a blank yearly calendar, right? So there's no days of the week on it. I have to draw them in. So I write the days of the week in black. I write the events in blue because I like blue, and then sometimes I'll write some of the super important ones in red. Those are usually reserved for my own personal events, like if I got to remember somebody's birthday, or an important event in the family, or sometimes like a hospital thing or doctor thing that I got coming up, because I really dropped the ball on that towards the end of the year. In my defense, though, I forgot to write them on the calendar, and that's what killed me. So I like to have everything. If I don't have everything in my field of vision, I tend to forget about it, because I get caught up in writing the Pineys or whatever I'm working on, and I get so hyper focused on that. When I come out of it, I'm kind of like I wouldn't say a blank slate, but I've kind of like pushed all the other stuff out of my brain, and I need that reminder up there on the wall where I could see it, so I could check every day and go, oh yeah, I got to do that thing at 2 or whatever, or I got that thing coming up on Wednesday, or whatever I have. I don't have anything up there now, so I'm a little full of anxiety. I'm gonna finish redoing it tonight, so I can have it all nice and clean with the events I have scheduled for 2025 already. And yeah, I like to do that. That's my main mode. Of course, I have the website, and I put stuff here on the Webcomic Factory website so you could see it. These are all my various Piney events. I also like to write things on tiny pieces of paper. Yeah, I'm like a note guy where I have the notes. So I got a couple of notes here. I got a thing tomorrow. Again, that's like a personal thing. But I've got just a couple of reminders of things I have to do. Start the new year right. Make sure I'm all covered, and then back into the grind, man. I gotta write book 17. I gotta start getting more events lined up for the rest of the year. I've got to do some other stuff that I tend not to put things that I do on a regular basis on the calendar. They're more for like important events that I can't put off, like appointments, I would say. The stuff that I do all the time that can be delayed by a day here or a week there, those I'll tend to put on pieces of paper, or I'll tend to forget them for a while until I remember them and go, oh, shoot, I was supposed to do that thing. Yeah, I don't have a good memory, admittedly, which is why I do the notes. But that's the main thing I do to organize. As you can see, I don't have a lot of organization in the office, but usually this time of year I start reevaluating that and going, really ought to put some books away and clean up and throw some stuff out. So I may be doing that. I've got piles of paper everywhere. So, but I do like to, I'm a bit of a pack rat. I keep notes on things. And once in a while, if something goes wrong and I have to refer to those notes, even though they're kind of a jumbled mess, at least I still have them. There's a chance I can find them. I tend to be pretty good with the trash. I got to throw this out just off camera. There's an empty bag of pretzels. Yeah. And then in terms of other organizations, digital organizations, a lot of that is on the computer and some on my phone. I don't go too crazy with the phone, like scheduling things, unless it's like tomorrow. Like I got to do a thing tomorrow, so I'll probably put an alarm in, maybe like an hour out. And, if it goes off and I've completely forgotten my appointment, I can look at it and go, why did I set this alarm? And then check my calendar, check my notes, and then go, oh, okay, that's why. So there's some redundancy built in. But it kind of depends on what you do, Another way, I think, to stay organized is to sort of do everything at the same time of day, right? Especially when you're short on time. So like when I'm working a day gig, which it's been a while, but when I worked a day gig, my sort of pattern was to come home after work, eat, unwind a bit, check the email, and then immediately start looking for freelance work. Do that for about a half hour to an hour, depending on how much was out there. And then maybe do my videos when I was doing videos and doing a day gig. And then right after that, do webcomic factory stuff. And then right after that, go into writing. And I would do that pretty much on a daily basis. And that repetition is good, I think, for writing, especially if you're working on a book or a screenplay, something long. You want to write every day, because it's kind of like a runner. It's you gotta stay in shape. You gotta be used to writing. First, you get used to writing a paragraph, and then a page, then hopefully 2 pages, 3 pages, and up and up and up, and then hopefully, like at my peak when I'm in fighting shape for writing, let's say, I'm usually writing about at least 5 to 10 pages a day, sometimes more. Depends, with the prose stuff, it's a little more dense. And sometimes I go back to an earlier scene and I will add more info in that. Or sometimes I'm clarifying something and it's not necessarily a lot of words, but it helped make the story better in a huge way, so I'm okay with that. If I figured something out, like a lot of what I do in terms of figuring out a story is all the moving pieces, I want them to integrate in such a way that the story makes sense, number one, but the reveals happen at the appropriate times, and there's enough high points in the first, second, and third acts that there's a real climax, there's an ending, there's some cool surprises, some new stuff you learn, and so sometimes I have to go back when I realize towards the end, I need this revelation and I want to have this revelation, but I haven't really set it up. I'll go back and sort of pepper in the setup in a story that's mostly done. And so the rewriting is part of the process. And that keeps me organized. Page count. I'm usually very deadline oriented. I'm fine now that I've hit January. I've got to get deadline oriented. I've got to write basically 2 pages a day now. So on average, hopefully this week I'll gear up and by the end of the week, I'll be writing 5 and 6 pages a day, and then, you know, by the end, say January 20th, I'll be done the first draft. I should have been done it earlier, but the holidays, things got away from me. But the calendar really helps. So I recommend going out to your office supply store, getting an erasable calendar for the year. Get a packet of markers with different colors. Write the days of the week against the calendar numbers. Cross off February 29th if it's not a leap year, and write, you know, whatever you need to write on it, and keep it in your field of view. It's good to refer to, I feel. Anyhow, that's my tip for today. I guess I'll call this a screenwriter's tip. Really, it's a good tip for anybody. But get organized. It's 2025. Time to hit the ground running. And we'll see you in the next one. And probably